Hello everyone and welcome to my BNB CBS Gossip 24 channel. Eric's shocking move could shake up Forrester Creations. On the bold and the beautiful, Eric is giving up his company to Ridge and Brooke. Eric returned to Forrester Creations, but he wasn't there to fight for his job back. He made a shocking move that could shake up Forrester Creations as we know it. Did Eric unknowingly kick off a potential fashion war? Eric made a brief return to Forrester Creations. He ended up at the showroom where he walked on the runway for one last time. He recalled the times when his designs walked down there. Ridge was informed that his father was in the building. He felt guilty about the retirement party, but not necessarily about pushing his dad to retire. Ridge offered to finish the line with Eric together. But his father rejected his offer. Eric admitted that he would take Ridge up on his offer to give retirement a try. He's not sure what he wants. What he does know is that he already put out his final couture collection years ago. In a stunning twist, Eric relinquished control of Forrester Creations. He told Ridge that he and Brooke could run it independently. He knows that it was already in good hands. Now it was time for him to step back and do something different. This shocking decision suggests that Brooke would replace Steffy as co-CEO. She wouldn't be running the company alongside her father anymore. Ridge refused Eric's offer. Eric admitted that the phones were ringing off the hook with Ridge and Steffy at the helm. But he wants Brooke and Ridge to run the company, which could present a problem. Ridge didn't anticipate Eric handing the company over to him. Eric promised that his retirement wouldn't last forever. He just wanted to give it a try for now. He was vague about his future plans. But his decision could throw Steffy off course. This also leaves her in a difficult spot as she is aware of Eric's designs. Will she spill his secret so she can keep her rightful place at Forrester Creations? Eric's decision could disrupt the fashion company. It'll turn into a competitive fashion house with everyone clamoring for their positions. Steffy's truce with Hope could even unravel since she won't want to be replaced by her mother. Eric's retirement party was humiliating. They really do want him out the door, right? The bold and the beautiful spoilers say that Eric Forrester just got the most degrading retirement party anyone could possibly get. And it's all thanks to his son Ridge Forrester, who has made it pretty clear that he doesn't want his father to have anything to do with Forrester Creations anymore. But is it even fair? Eric has put in a lifetime's worth of work into the family business just to have it all taken away from someone that is supposed to be one of his biggest supporters. His son. What's going on here? Of course, many the bold and the beautiful fans had a lot to say about the matter on social media. The most insulting thing about this retirement party is how obvious it was that Ridge couldn't even be bothered to plan it properly. Another critic of the show wrote, "It is one of the most ridiculous things I've seen in a long time. Something that probably took an hour of planning. There should be a huge gala with famous people there. I know they don't have the budget for that, but this was absolutely horrible." And then there was this comment as well, "Exactly. At the very least it should have rivaled some of their fashion shows. This was barely an acknowledgement of a lifetime of work. Couldn't even invite the staff that work in the building." It goes without saying that the bold and the beautiful fans will simply have to tune in each and every day to find out what will happen next. Eric Forrester's recent actions on the bold and the beautiful have sent shockwaves through Forrester Creations, setting the stage for potentially the most dramatic shakeup the iconic fashion house has seen in years. After a brief but highly significant return to the company, Eric made the astonishing decision to step back from day-to-day operations and, more controversially, to relinquish control of the company entirely to Ridge and Brooke. This move, which on the surface may seem like a graceful retirement decision, is far more complex and layered than it initially appears. Eric did not return to the Forrester Creations showroom to fight for his position, nor did he come with the intention of challenging the status quo. Instead, he chose to make a symbolic yet deeply impactful statement by walking on the runway one final time, a gesture that harkens back to the golden days when his designs set trends and commanded the fashion world's attention. That final runway moment was more than nostalgia. It was Eric's acknowledgement of the culmination of his career, a way of closing a chapter while setting the stage for a new, unpredictable era in the company's history. Ridge, who has long been positioned as Eric's successor, was quickly made aware of his father's presence at the showroom. The guilt he felt over orchestrating what some have called a humiliating retirement party came to the forefront, highlighting the complex mix of familial loyalty, rivalry, and personal ambition that has defined the Forrester family's internal dynamics for decades. Ridge's offer to collaborate with his father and finalize a new couture line together was rejected by Eric, who, in an unexpected twist, decided to embrace retirement and pursue a period of personal reflection. Eric's admission that he was uncertain about what he wanted, yet knew he had already presented his final couture collection years prior, underscores a significant turning point not just for him personally, but for the company as a whole. The most shocking element of this sequence, however, was Eric's decision to hand over the reins of Forrester Creations to Ridge and Brooke, effectively bypassing his own son's authority and altering the leadership dynamics in a way that could have far-reaching consequences. This move hints at the possibility of Brooke replacing Steffy as co-CEO, a change that would redefine leadership at the company and challenge established loyalties. Ridge's refusal of Eric's initial offer further complicates matters, suggesting that he is unprepared for the level of responsibility and the intricate balancing act required to manage a company that operates not just as a fashion empire, but also as a hub of intense familial and professional drama. Eric's vague statements about his future plans, coupled with his insistence that his retirement is temporary, inject an element of suspense and uncertainty, leaving the door open for dramatic plot developments and potential conflicts. Steffy, who is keenly aware of her father's designs and legacy, is placed in a precarious position. She now faces a dilemma about whether to reveal certain creative secrets in order to safeguard her rightful position, potentially setting off a chain reaction of betrayals, shifting alliances and competitive maneuvering within the company. The implications of Eric's decision extend beyond individual roles. They suggest a restructuring that could transform Forrester Creations into a fiercely competitive fashion house where ambitions clash, and strategic positioning becomes critical. This situation could even destabilize existing truces, such as the one between Steffy and Hope, because the threat of being replaced by another family member, particularly her mother, adds a new layer of tension to the company's internal politics. The retirement party itself, described by fans and critics as humiliating, adds another layer of complexity to the narrative. Rather than a celebration befitting a man of Eric's stature, it was a glaringly underwhelming acknowledgement of a lifetime's work, orchestrated in a way that many perceive as intentionally dismissive by Ridge. Social media reactions reflect the audience's collective outrage and disappointment, emphasizing that Eric's contributions have long been undervalued by those closest to him. Comments highlighting the lack of planning, the minimal guest list, and the absence of staff recognition underscore a narrative in which Eric's legacy is at risk of being overshadowed by family politics and mismanagement. This public perception of injustice resonates deeply with viewers, who are invested not only in the business drama but also in the personal and emotional stakes of the characters involved. Eric's lifetime of dedication to Forrester Creations, his pioneering designs, and his status as a patriarch in the fashion industry all contribute to the sense that his removal from power, whether by choice or circumstance, marks a critical juncture in the series. By allowing Ridge and Brooke to take the helm, Eric disrupts the conventional hierarchy, creating a scenario in which control of the company is more fluid and potentially contentious. The ripple effects of this decision are manifold. Alliances within the Forrester family will be tested, professional rivalries will intensify, and the balance of power in the company could shift dramatically. Eric's choice to temporarily step back is more than a personal experiment. It is a catalyst for narrative tension that could redefine the trajectory of every character involved. Fans of the bold and the beautiful are particularly attuned to the symbolism of Eric walking one last time on the runway, a moment that serves as both an emotional farewell and a subtle assertion of influence even in retirement. The juxtaposition of this heartfelt moment against the backdrop of a poorly executed retirement party highlights the disconnect between Eric's monumental contributions and the perceived ingratitude of his successors, creating dramatic irony that engages the audience and invites them to speculate about what will happen next. Moreover, the tension between Eric's desire to step back and the operational realities of running a high-profile fashion house introduces questions about corporate governance, creative direction, and the ethical responsibilities of leadership within a family-run business. As viewers watch the unfolding dynamics, the narrative invites them to consider how ambition, loyalty, and legacy intersect in high-stakes professional environments, particularly when personal relationships are deeply entwined with business interests. The strategic implications of Eric's decision are profound. Brooke assuming a leadership role alongside Ridge not only challenges Steffy's expectations but also reconfigures the power dynamics within the company, creating potential friction that could manifest in both subtle sabotage and overt confrontation. This realignment may spark competitive tension not just between family members, but also among the broader Forrester team, as employees navigate shifting loyalties and changing reporting structures. Steffy's dilemma regarding Eric's designs adds an additional layer of intrigue. Her choices could influence the company's creative output, affect market positioning, and ultimately determine who maintains influence over Forrester Creations' future collections. At the same time, Eric's decision underscores a thematic exploration of legacy, retirement, and the tension between personal fulfillment and professional obligation. His willingness to relinquish control, despite being acutely aware of the chaos it may create, reflects both his confidence in Ridge and Brooke's capabilities and his desire to explore life beyond the confines of the business he built. This act of stepping aside, juxtaposed with Ridge's unpreparedness and Steffy's precarious position, establishes a narrative tension that will likely dominate future storylines, inviting viewers to engage with questions about leadership, succession, and the personal sacrifices inherent in maintaining a family empire. Furthermore, the fan response to Eric's retirement party serves as a meta-commentary on audience expectations for dramatic storytelling. The outrage and critique reflect viewers' investment in character arcs, narrative payoff, and the symbolic gestures that honor a character's journey. The disparity between Eric's monumental contributions and the party's perceived inadequacy reinforces the dramatic tension on screen while simultaneously engaging the audience in broader discussions about respect, recognition, and intergenerational conflict within high-profile families. As Eric experiments with retirement, his presence, or absence, looms large, influencing both the creative direction of the company and the interpersonal dynamics among key players. The potential for a fashion war instigated by shifting leadership and competing ambitions adds an element of high-stakes suspense, ensuring that every decision made by Ridge, Brooke, Steffy, or Hope carries significant weight and could result in unforeseen consequences. Eric's strategic ambiguity about his future, combined with his deliberate decision to hand over control, transforms him from a mere elder statesman into a pivotal catalyst for narrative escalation, whose choices will reverberate through Forrester Creations and the Forrester family alike. In essence, this plot development represents a masterclass in intertwining personal and professional drama. It balances nostalgia, character growth, suspense, and audience engagement while setting the stage for multi-layered conflict, creative rivalry, and intricate family politics that define the bold and the beautiful at its most compelling. Eric's move is not just a retirement. It is a deliberate narrative pivot designed to test loyalties, challenge assumptions, and invite viewers to speculate about how power, creativity, and familial bonds will collide in the weeks and months to come. The implications for Steffy, Ridge, Brooke, and the company at large are profound. Every interaction, every decision, and every subtle shift in control now carries amplified significance. With fans reacting passionately to both the retirement party and Eric's surprising generosity in handing over leadership, the storyline exemplifies how personal relationships within the Forrester family are inseparable from business strategy, making each episode a rich study in ambition, loyalty, and the unpredictable consequences of legacy management. The tension between Eric's desire for personal freedom and the expectations of the company and family generates a compelling narrative engine, driving plotlines that are at once emotionally resonant and strategically intricate. In the weeks ahead, viewers can anticipate a cascade of developments: creative conflicts over couture lines, corporate maneuvering, power struggles between Brooke and Steffy, and the continual negotiation of loyalty and ambition among Ridge, Eric, and the next generation of Forresters. As the company navigates this uncharted territory, Eric's legacy, both as a designer and as a patriarch, will remain a guiding, if sometimes disruptive, influence, ensuring that Forrester Creations continues to be a focal point of drama, ambition, and stylistic excellence within the series. The unfolding saga is poised to test every character's mettle, from their personal resilience to their professional acumen, while simultaneously keeping audiences riveted through a combination of emotional depth, strategic plotting, and the unpredictable consequences of a family empire in flux. Ultimately, Eric's shocking decision to step aside and empower Ridge and Brooke is far more than a mere plot device. It is a profound narrative gesture that challenges traditional notions of succession, redefines authority within a family-run enterprise, and sets in motion a series of conflicts, alliances, and dramatic confrontations that will reverberate through Forrester creations for the foreseeable future. It is a storyline that embodies the very essence of the bold and the beautiful: glamour, intrigue, personal ambition, familial loyalty, and the high stakes of both fashion and family legacy, ensuring that Eric Forrester's influence will continue to shape the narrative landscape long after his final walk on the runway, leaving viewers captivated by the unfolding drama and eagerly anticipating each twist, turn, and revelation in the ever-compelling saga of Forrester creations. The ramifications of Eric Forrester's decision to step back from Forrester creations are far-reaching and multi-layered, extending beyond the immediate leadership changes to encompass a complex web of personal relationships, professional rivalries, and the very future of the iconic fashion house. While on the surface it may appear that Eric's retirement is a simple matter of wanting to step away and enjoy a more personal chapter in his life, a closer examination reveals the subtle strategic undercurrents and potential conflicts that make this development one of the most compelling storylines in recent The Bold and the Beautiful history. Eric's decision to hand over control to Ridge and Brooke simultaneously disrupts the established hierarchy and challenges traditional succession expectations within the Forrester family, an act that has the potential to ignite both internal power struggles and external creative competition. Ridge, whose entire adult life has been shaped by the shadow of his father's towering reputation, now finds himself in an unprecedented position. He is officially entrusted with significant authority, yet simultaneously confronted with the unpredictability of shared leadership with Brooke, who brings her own ambitions, business instincts, and influence to the equation. Ridge's response to this challenge is emblematic of his long-standing struggle between familial loyalty and personal ambition. While he has consistently sought to honor his father's legacy, Ridge has also harbored a desire to establish his own identity and creative voice within the company. The sudden shift in leadership dynamics forces him to navigate a delicate balance between asserting his own authority and maintaining the cohesion of a family business that is inherently prone to emotional turbulence. Brooke, in assuming a co-leadership role alongside Ridge, also faces a complex set of challenges. Her transition into a more prominent executive position not only redefines her role within the company but also reshapes the interpersonal dynamics with her stepchildren, particularly Steffy. This shift raises questions about trust, loyalty, and the potential for conflict. Will Brooke's authority be accepted, or will it become a source of friction as Steffy grapples with feelings of displacement and potential betrayal? The tension between Brooke and Steffy is particularly significant because it introduces the potential for a generational clash, with competing visions for the future of the company and differing interpretations of how to honor Eric's legacy. Steffy, long aware of her father's designs and creative genius, now faces the dilemma of whether to use her intimate knowledge to assert her own position or to remain loyal to Eric's intentions, a moral and strategic quandary that could define her trajectory within the company. The subtle interplay between personal ambition and professional responsibility is further complicated by the historical patterns of the Forrester family, in which interpersonal drama and corporate maneuvering are deeply intertwined. Eric's decision, while seemingly generous and forward-looking, is also strategically potent. By stepping back voluntarily, he effectively tests the capabilities of Ridge and Brooke while creating an environment in which competition, creativity, and leadership skills will be scrutinized under the intense pressures of running a high-profile fashion empire. This scenario has profound implications not only for the family but for the company's employees, clients, and the broader fashion industry that has long recognized Forrester creations as a benchmark of innovation and style. Within the company, the ripple effects of Eric's retirement are already being felt. Employees who once reported directly to Eric must now navigate a dual leadership structure that is unprecedented in Forrester's recent history. The challenge of managing communication, decision-making, and creative alignment under these conditions could lead to missteps, misunderstandings, and even power struggles, particularly if different factions within the company align themselves with either Ridge or Brooke. These internal tensions are compounded by external pressures. Competitors within the fashion industry are likely to seize upon any perceived instability as an opportunity to challenge Forrester Creations' dominance, potentially escalating into a fashion war, in which innovation, reputation, and market share are at stake. Eric's decision then is not simply a personal milestone. It is a strategic inflection point that may determine the company's trajectory for years to come. The broader narrative implications extend to the relationships between the next generation of Forresters. Steffy, in particular, is positioned at a crossroads. The tension between her desire to maintain her creative influence and the necessity of respecting her father's vision creates a layered conflict that has dramatic potential both for her personal arc and for the company's creative output. The possibility of Steffy revealing secrets about Eric's designs introduces an element of intrigue and suspense that could further destabilize leadership dynamics, illustrating how closely intertwined familial loyalty, ethical considerations, and professional ambition are within the Forrester universe. This narrative also underscores a recurring thematic motif in The Bold and the Beautiful, the delicate balance between legacy and innovation. Eric's choice to relinquish control allows for the infusion of new ideas and approaches, particularly from Ridge and Brooke, but it also raises questions about how the company can honor its storied past while adapting to contemporary demands. This tension is mirrored in the audience's response, as viewers grapple with their own expectations for character development, plot progression, and narrative justice. Social media reactions to the retirement party reveal a broader cultural conversation about recognition, respect, and the symbolic importance of honoring contributions in professional contexts. Fans' criticism of the poorly executed retirement party highlights their investment in Eric as a character and in the company as a fictional institution. The perceived slight against his lifetime of work generates a meta-narrative in which audience outrage becomes a parallel storyline that amplifies the stakes of the on-screen drama. Eric's ability to influence the narrative even in absence, through his decisions, legacy, and the choices of his successors, demonstrates the enduring power of his character as both a patriarch and a creative visionary. His presence looms over every strategic move and interpersonal interaction, underscoring the notion that leadership is not merely about positional authority but also about the cultural and emotional imprint left on those who follow. The evolving dynamics between Ridge, Brooke, and Steffy are particularly compelling because they offer a rich exploration of power-sharing arrangements in high-stakes, emotionally charged environments. Ridge, for instance, must reconcile his personal ambitions with the expectations placed upon him by both his father and the company's stakeholders. His interactions with Brooke are shaped not only by professional considerations but by the history of their complex personal relationship, which has oscillated between collaboration, rivalry, and romantic entanglement over the years. Brooke, meanwhile, must assert herself in a manner that balances leadership with diplomacy, recognizing that her